and welcome back to our 12 Days of Fitmas. Today is day number 7, so we're over halfway there. Today's session is going to be a little bit more of a recovery session. So we've been doing a lot of work, working different areas of our body. So today we're going to slow it down a little bit and give each area a little bit more attention, a little bit more recovery. We've been doing a lot of new work and everything, and so your muscles might be feeling a little worked as they should. So today we're going to give each area a little bit more love and compassion and slow things down and just really feel for very small movements as we go through. So grab a comfortable area. You can use your mat if that feels good for you. Stick to comfortable clothing. You can stay nice and cozy. Again, today is going to be a little bit more of a recovery session. So when you're ready and you've got everything set up, again, no equipment's necessary. If you want a little cushion for extra comfort, by all means you can. We're going to come down onto our mats for this one. So starting down on our back here. All right, feet are going to start roughly hip distance apart, and we're just going to again come into the fine-tuning movement of our pelvis here. So hands on top or by the side, whatever feels most comfortable. We're going to come into our tilt. So can we feel our pelvis rotate backwards, feel pressure on the low back as the tailbone tries to scoop up, and then we reverse and we arch the back. That's it. We rotate, tilt, low back pushes down, and then we arch as we tilt the opposite way. And you may notice as you're doing this movement, your head starts to nod back and forth. And really, again, what we're doing is, even though the movement is coming from our pelvis, coming from our hip region, you're still mobilizing the entire spine. So you're working through different curve variations. And so just kind of notice it, feel it, and ease into it as we go from one side to the next, back and forth at a comfortable pace, comfortable speed, comfortable distance. And then you're going to come back to center. So heavy through that sacrum, that triangular bone at the base of the spine. Can we pretend our pelvis is a teeter-totter? Can we feel heavier through the right as the left side lifts? And then we rock the teeter-totter as we're heavier through the left. Right side lifts up. Good, so we're going side to side here, nice and slow. Really light through your feet. We want the motion to come from the pelvis. And you're rotating and rocking it along the pelvis, along the lower ribs, side to side, side to side. Good. And then when you're ready, we're going to make our way back to center. From here, we're going to go opposite direction. So this time, we're going to try and take that right hip, and can we bring it a little closer towards the rib? So we're scrunching up the right side. And then we bring it back and we switch. We scrunch up the left side and bring it back. So we're light through the feet. Again, we want the motion to come from the pelvis. We try and scrunch the left side up, elongating through the right. We come back to center. We scrunch the right side up, elongate through the left side, and then back to center. We go side to side again like this, rocking back and forth, nice and slow. At a comfortable speed, nice and easy. Feeling the legs work as we do this, but we're light through the feet there, nice and light through the feet. Good. Side to side and side to side. Wonderful. Arms come together, feet can come a little wider. Let the shoulders fall down. Can we come and let the knees fall to the right as our gaze and arms go to the left? Eyes stay in line with the thumb and your breastbone. And then we switch, knees fall to the left, arms and gaze come to the right. And we fall to the opposite side. So really keeping the eyes in line with the arms stay glued together. It's gonna feel like you're not getting too much movement, but you're actually really wringing out the spine here. Instead of it looking like you're going further when your arms are doing the movement, and not getting the same kind of benefit. So side to side, nice and slow. Gaze follows the thumbs. And one more to the side. And then arms come back to your side. Feet come back to hip distance apart. This time you're gonna stack your knee on top of your hip. Place your hand heavy on your knee so that the weight of the leg is in your hand. So from here, we're heavy through the sacrum. Can we start to draw very small circles with the hip? So the size of a tennis ball, nothing bigger. We're going nice and around in that circular motion, staying heavy through the sacrum. So let your hand, try and really let the arm and the hand do the motion instead of the leg turning in the socket. Let the arm and the hand sway around and around. And then we're gonna reverse and we switch to the opposite side. We go nice and around, around and around. And you may have noticed that the first direction you went in might feel a little bit easier, or you might feel like your leg wants to take over when you go this way, but really try and stay heavy through the leg like it's dead weight and the arm is doing all of the motion. And then we're gonna straighten the legs, and I just want you to check in on the hips. Let the legs hang heavy. Now, you may notice that the right might feel a little longer, a little heavier. If you close your eyes and think about the length of your legs, you might honestly think that your right side's a little longer. And that's just because we've worked and mobilized all the muscles around the hip on that side. So we're gonna compare on the left, we're gonna do the same thing, and then we'll reevaluate to see how that feels. So hand is heavy on top of the knee, leg is nice and heavy, the arm is doing the motion, and you're heavy through the pelvis here. So nice and easy, side to side, all the way around, really small circles. Here we go, size of a tennis ball, nothing greater, and your arm is doing all the work, the leg is heavy. And then we're gonna switch directions. Now you might notice that this other side might feel a little more challenging to create that smooth circle. And that's 100% okay to start. Just be aware of it, notice it, and keep it going. The more you do this or the more you try this, the easier and the more fluid that circle will become. 2 more. Last one. And bring the legs down. Let's straighten the legs out. Keep your eyes shut to really feel how things are feeling. And check into the length of the legs. They might feel a little more even now. So great work there. We bend the knees again, feet hip distance apart. Push into the shoulders, push into the feet. We're gonna just bridge on up. Really feel long from the shoulders to the thighs as if the thighs are growing long to the wall. And then bring yourself down. We do 4 more like that. We lift up, we grow long. Push into the shoulders, take a breath up here, come down nice and slow. We push up and grow long. Big breath in and out. And last one, we push up. And then come down with control. From here, heavy through the sacrum, light through the low back. We lift the knee on top of the hip. Then from here, can we let that knee and the foot fall out to the side, keeping the left hip sit bone grounded. Use the inner thigh to pull back to start it. So we let it fall as far as it can before the left side lifts. Pretend as though your hips are drawing in towards each other to pull you back up. We let it fall out to the side. Pretend like you're doing a belt up to pull you back in. So we use a little bit of that deep core there. We let it fall, the foot and the knee, and then we pull back in. We do one more like that. We let it fall and we pull it back in. Very good. We bring that side down and we lift and repeat on the other side. So let the knee, let the foot fall out towards the left, and then keep that right hip grounded down. Don't worry if you can't go too far. Inner legs pull you back up. We let it fall as far as it can. Stay solid through that sacrum. Feel as though the hips are imaginary. Use that imagination and let the hips feel as though they're coming in towards each other. Good. Now all of these cues, one might hit home a little bit better. You might start to feel some more activity with one of these cues. So whichever one resonates best with you, stick with that one there. If I'm saying something and you can't quite get the understanding, then definitely just disregard that one and move on to the other one. All right, we roll to our side. So our arm is stretched out, our knees are bent, our foot, our hip, our shoulder, and our head are all in line. From here, hips stay stacked, hands on hips, draw the belly button in. Can we clam? We lift the knees apart, and we slowly bring the knees back together. We lift the knees apart, and we slowly bring them back together. That's it. We lift the knees apart, and we bring them back together. We repeat, we lift them apart, and we bring them back together. Now, like the last movement we did, but now a different position. Our knee and our feet come apart. Can we lift the knee and the foot at the same time? Keep the hips stacked and really draw that belly button in, and then let the knee and the foot fall down. And then we lift again. We lift as high as they can, keeping the hips stacked, and then we let it fall down. Now come back to your side body, push into the armpit, push into the hip to keep that waistline lifted. Now, if it wasn't before and you go to lift it now, you'll actually really notice that this movement feels very, very different. Might feel a little bit more challenging, but that's good there. Now we lift the knees apart just an inch, and then can the feet try and come apart? We rotate the hip the opposite way, and then the feet come back together. The feet come apart, knees are just staying an inch apart, and then back together. You might have noticed you've lost that space under the waistline, so can you keep that lift there as we lift up? And then fall back down. We do one more. We're just trying to mobilize the hip muscles here. Get a little longer through those muscles there, and back down they come. Very good. We're gonna roll onto your tummies. For the sake so that you can hear me, I'm just gonna turn to the other side, and then it's easier when we do all of what we just did on the other side. From this position, we're gonna keep your arms in a bit of that W, elbows are tucked in towards your side, heavy through the thighs, heavy through the feet. Forehead is down on the mat. For the sake of this, I'm just gonna turn and talk it through the first part. So with your forehead down, can you keep a slight tuck of your chin and then lift your head up just an inch and we bring it back down? Good. So gaze is down, tuck of the chin, we lift the head an inch and then bring it back down. So keep going with this movement, nice and slow. Feel as though the crown at the top of the head is growing towards the opposite wall. Can you really check in that you're still heavy through your feet as you do this motion nice and slow? Keep that slight lift of the belly button and down. That's it. This time we're gonna lift. Can we stay there just an inch? Can we turn to the right and then turn your gaze to the left? We come back to center, head comes down. We lift the head, our gaze comes to the right. We switch gaze to the left. We go back to center and down. One more this way. We're light through the hands. Hands are just there for support. Try not to push down with the arms. We come back to center and down. We switch sides. So we lift. Can we turn to the left first this time? Then turn to the right. Gaze comes back to center and down. We lift, look to the left. As we switch and turn to the right, can we still make sure that the belly button's lifted? We don't want to lose it. And we do one more. And switch. And back to center. And then we come down. Roll onto your side. So from here, we've got hand, head in line with shoulder, hips, and feet. Can we push through the armpit, push through the hip to keep that light through the underside, keeping that waistline and the torso nice and long. Hands on the hips, keep hips stacked as we push down with the bottom knee to lift the top leg. That'll help keep those hips stacked on top of each other as we open up our clam and bring it back down. Good. The more we push with the armpit and the more we push with the bottom hip and knee, the more solid you're going to feel in this movement. We lift it up and down. Good job. We do one more like that. We lift it up and then we come back down. Now we lift the knees apart, lift the feet apart. Keep them in line as we lift them nice and high and then bring them back down. Really draw in that belly button. Feel as though the waistline is growing, as if the hips are almost growing towards each other or moving towards each other. Use your imagination there. We lift and down. Good. 2 more here. We're working the hip muscles to get nice and long through this area here. And last one, we lift and bring it down. Now knees come apart just an inch. We try and bring the feet apart as far as you can and we rotate the opposite way. Feet come back to meet. We rotate the feet and then they come to meet. Check in, are we still long through the waistline? Has that side fallen down? Try and push it back up. You'll feel those hip muscles work a little bit harder. We lift it up, good. You're doing great. One more here. We lift it up and then we bring it back down. Let's come on over. We're gonna come up to seated. We're gonna switch on to all fours. And then from here, hands directly under your shoulders, knees directly under your hips. Can we just glide the hips back, staying level, hips widen, and then they come together as we come forward. As we go back, the hips widen, and then we come forward, they come together. Our hips widen, and then come together. And this time we're gonna round out into our child's pose. Knees can be wide or together, whatever feels best. For me, I like the wide knees. Let your torso fall down and walk your arms forward to feel a little bit deeper through the side here. Forehead can be down on the mat. For the sake so you can hear me, I'm just gonna take a look to you. So from here, can we walk the arms a little further towards the right? Let that left shoulder fall down a little heavier through that left side. Stretch that left side a little bit more. Take a deep breath in. Let it all out. One more breath in. Keep your forehead planted to keep that head nice and relaxed. The only reason my head is up is so you can hear me. And then walk your arms towards that left side. So you're gonna feel a little more pull through the right side body here. And take a nice deep breath in. And out. Keep that forehead down on the mat. Feel the head grow heavy. Feel your chest sink down a little deeper. Another deep breath in. And let it all out. And then walk your arms back to the center. And we hold for one more deep breath in the center. Sinking the hips. Sway side to side if that feels good. And then we're gonna come forward and come all the way on back to our tummy. From here, arms back into that W position. We wanna really stay nice and relaxed through the hips, through the low back. So give them a little shake to feel nice and heavy. You wanna keep this sensation going through this next motion. So with your forehead down, you're gonna lift your gaze. Can we bring the gaze forward? Feel your weight through the lower ribs. And then we bring the breastbone back down. And then lift the head, gaze comes forward. More weight now on the lower rib cage. And then we lower down. We're light through the arms, light through the hands as we lift and gaze forward. Using all of the work of the back, we're going into that opposite direction. Then we come down and we do it again. We lift up and then we come down. So we're checking in again. Are we staying light, nice and relaxed through the hips there? Arms in our W. This time we're lifting to that same point. Keep relaxed through the glutes, through the hips, and then use your arms to push nice and tall. Your hips stay down. So only push as high as your hips stay down. If that's only part way, you need your arms a little further. You don't get as high, that's not a problem. We come back down. You push up to as high as you can get. If that's all the way, wonderful. Stay heavy through the hips. And again, shake the hips out to make sure you're nice and relaxed through the glutes and through the hips. Breathe in as we lift. Push the mat away from you. Relax through the hips. Good. If you can stay relaxed through the hips, you only want to go as high as you can keep that relaxation going there. If you're making it all the way up this time, put a little bit more weight into your left side, left hip, and look over your right. And then back to center, and then we come down. We push all the way up. More weight through the right hip as your gaze comes over the left. We come back to center and back down. Good, we repeat that motion. We come up first. More weight on the left side as you look over the right. You should feel a nice stretch through your abdominals, which should be really good after the core work we've been working on. Back to center and down. We come back up, more weight on the right side. We look over. And then we're gonna look back to center. Now this time we're gonna stay tall. We're gonna look to the right. And I want you to just see how your left side feels. You're gonna come back to center. Look over your left and see how your right side body feels. Now, for me, my right side's a little tighter from all that work. Yours might be the same or the opposite. So feel free to hang out in one direction over the other. Taking a couple nice deep breaths here. Still keep that relaxation through the hips. Nice and easy. And back to center when you're ready. We're gonna come all the way down. And then we'll roll to our side and come up into our seated position. From here, can we cross the legs or keep them kind of like the side, whichever feels best. If this is comfortable for you, stay here. If we needed to cross, by all means, cross them. From here, can we reach the arm over? Big breath in. And back to center. We counter that on the opposite side. And back to center. We do one more each side. And back to center. Last one, big reach. And back to center. Now we switch sides, or you stay cross and do two more to each side. We reach the arm over. And to center. We switch directions. And back. We do that one more time each way. And back. Last one. And back. Wonderful. Come back down to a lying position to finish off here. Legs are out straight. Arms reach over your body. Feel as though your arms are pulling to one side, your legs are pulling to the other. Big breath in. And side out. Let everything go. We repeat that. Big, big stretch. Reach, reach, reach. Big breath in. And side all out. Last one here. We reach the arms, we reach the legs, we breathe in. Hold that breath. 3, 2, 1, and big sigh, let it all out. Alrighty, take a moment here. Feel free to lie down to stay relaxed. Close your eyes for a bit and relax. Or if we're all done, we'll come on up. And that concludes our recovery session. So Today's was definitely a little bit slower. Our goal today was to really get the joints moving, but to kind of check in on how those muscles were feeling after we've worked them for the past week or so. So kind of see how your body feels after that motion. I always love checking in and turning my head side to side to see if it feels like you have any more motion. That movement might actually feel a little less restricted, all with a combination of what we were working on today. So thanks again for joining me for day 7 of the 12 Days of Fitmas. Write in the comments below how today's session was, what you loved about it, maybe certain things you're feeling as you're using it, your muscles differently, and then let me know what you want to see more of once this challenge is done. Again, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.